The problem with smart people. Boy, we love smart people, don't we? Intelligence, it's a great thing. And in many walks of life, of course, that's a great thing. You have researchers, you have academics, scientists. Certainly intelligence counts for a lot. But you know what? It doesn't always count for as much as you might think. The problem is that sometimes the smartest people think that they know more than everybody else. And when they think that they know more than everybody else, they make it very difficult to get anyone to follow them and do anything with them. In other words, the smartest people don't always make the best leaders. Think about this. In professional sports, it's not unusual to have former athletes become head coaches or even general managers, but are they necessarily the best ones? Well, in my experience, the greatest of professional athletes who are at the top of their absolute game, call it great intelligence in their world, they find it difficult to teach other people because, you know, they're lesser mortals. They never had to, they never had the same type of opportunity, same type of ability to do things. They weren't naturals. Wayne Gretzky is a very famous example, maybe, you know, the most successful, famous hockey player ever. And it turns out he didn't make a very good coach because he had God-given gifts. Certainly he was very dedicated to that. But for the average player, they can't rely on the Gretzky model. And what about Michael Jordan in basketball? Not exactly the best coach, the best general manager, and arguably not even the best owner these days. So sometimes having the most intelligence is, or the greatest capability in something, is not necessarily the best thing. There's something that happens in business that's quite common, in management that's quite common when it comes to this point, and that is the smarter you are, the more you think you're right. And I'm here to tell you that being right is not enough. Being right is great, but it's not enough if other people are not going to believe in what it is you're trying to accomplish. In fact, one of the things that the smartest people don't always understand is that they need to sell their ideas. The genius of their ideas in and of themselves are not going to carry the day unless you can convince other people that your ideas are the best ones. This happens internally in management, in leadership, but it also happens strategically as well. I'm thinking of a few years ago when the iPod came out. Apple's iPod came out, and it was killing it. It was doing great, and the reality was that the iPod did not have and still does not have the best music quality, best audio quality of any MP3 player that's out there. In fact, I remember I was in Singapore doing some consulting work with a group, and there were some people there from Creative Labs, a very successful company that made MP3 players, and they actually had the best media, the best audio quality. And iPod had come out, the iPod was doing well, and the Creative Labs people were talking to me and saying, you know, they just didn't understand it. How could it be that everybody was buying the iPod? In fact, when they started getting into the discussion, they were getting so agitated, they were even saying, well, I mean, what's wrong with these customers? How could they be so stupid? Well, leaving aside the fact that you never make money by calling your customers stupid, the reality is it wasn't that important for an MP3 player to have the world's best audio quality. You could win in other dimensions, and for Apple, that was design, it was branding, and of course, it was iTunes. Having the world's best technology wasn't enough to win. And it turns out that is quite an important lesson. So having the best, having the most, having the greatest intelligence, yeah, I like all that. Who doesn't? But it's not necessarily a winning formula.